じゃあパソコン起動したらネットから今日の資料をダウンロードしてください。Please download the materials for today's exercise from this URL https://bit.ly/to capital Q capital N IYP capital B. Let's start today's exercise. My name is Suzuki, at today's instructor. In this exercise, we deal with some methods for signal processing. And today's topic as follows. First, I'll give you some explanation about Fourier transform. And then we will try classwork. And finally, I'll give you homework. First, I mention about Fourier transform. So he is Joseph Fourier. He was born in Auxerre in France in 1768. And his thesis is most famous for his work is this one. And this means the title in English is The Analytic Theory of Heat. 熱伝導に関する理論です。で、nobody paid much attention when this work was published, but it is one of the most important mathematical theories in modern engineering. What is the big idea of his theory? This shows a periodical function, and these figures show sine and cosine functions. And the concept and overview of Fourier series is any function that periodically repeats itself can be expressed as sine functions and cosine functions of different frequencies, each multiplied by a different coefficient. That means amplitude, 振幅 amplitude. So this shows a simple example. This figure shows a rectangular wave. In mathematical expression, this means that in the region minus a to a, this function takes a value a. On the other hand, from a to 3a, 3 times a, the function takes value 0. This form repeats. And notice how we get closer and closer to the original function as we add more and more frequencies. So I'll give you a successive approximation. This is the original function, rectangular wave. Then this shows components as summands of Fourier series, and this one is Fourier series. That is the summation of these three functions. The first term is this one, red straight line. This means a constant term. And the next term is this one, k equal 1. This one is a cosine curve. And the second one, green curve, means the other cosine function. Sum up with these three functions, then we obtain this green curve. Next, we add another function, this light green. Then this curve, the form of this curve will be improved slightly. And another one, then this blue curve will be obtained from these five components. We will try this procedure many times. Then finally, we can obtain this form of function, very similar to the original function. So I'll give you another example, the summation of some sine curves. This figure shows summation of these two sine curves. And each of these two curves means these two figures. This one shows this curve, and this one shows this curve. And frequency means how many cycles are there in unit time. On the other hand, the cycle is this region. This means that the time for this function makes one curve. And the frequency and the cycles have this relationship. This one, the frequency of this function is f, and the cycle of it is 1 over f. So f times 1 over f is 1. In this case, frequency is 3f, and the cycle is 1 over 3f. So in this case, this equation also holds. And after applying Fourier expansion to this function, we can obtain this frequency spectra. More precisely, the horizontal axis means frequency. On the other hand, the vertical axis means amplitude. This bar graph shows that this function, frequency is f, and the amplitude is, yes, okay. Amplitude means this part, height of the function. And this one shows the frequency 3f, and the amplitude is a quarter, this one, this coefficient. So I'll give you another example using this function. This one shows the original function. And this one is approximated by these two curves. And this one shows the summation of these two curves. And this graph shows the frequency spectra. In this case, if frequency is f and amplitude is 1.0, this part is 1.0. And another one shows that the frequency is 3f, and the amplitude is how many? 1/3. This one is 1/3. A quarter. Yeah, this part. This height equals this height. So I'll add another function. Then we can obtain this frequency spectra. This one is given in the previous slide. This one, by using this one and another function, we can obtain this curve. And the frequency frequency spectra is given by this graph. And this function corresponds to this bar, vertical bar. In this case, frequency is 5f, and the amplitude corresponds to this height. We repeat this procedure. Then, please attention to this frequency spectra. Yes. By this procedure, we can obtain frequency spectra. And a general formation of Fourier transform of function fx is given this equation. And we put original function fx in here and compute this one. Then Fourier transform is obtained. And this part shows a exponential. This one shows Euler's formula, and exponential I theta equal cosine theta plus I sine theta. Here, I means a square root of -1, and theta is a real number. We deal with more practical case later. And this function is given by this summation. This part is a coefficient a and 1/2k minus 1. And this part is a component of this Fourier series. And the frequency spectra is given by this graph. This shows the frequency and the amplitude. But if we square of this amplitude, we can get power spectra. And by the way, this shows the spectra of white noise. White spectra means spectra that contains all frequencies uniformly, all frequencies uniformly associated with white light. And so in the former slides, we dealt with continuous function, but we need a transformation, Fourier transform for discrete data. Data signals consist of points at discrete time, and computers can deal with only discrete and finite computation. So, can we transform discrete data into Fourier series? The answer is yes. And there exists Fourier transform for discrete function, as well as that for continuous function. So, how do we transform a series of discrete signals, Fn, into a series of Fourier coefficients, capital F? This gives a Fourier transform for discrete data. The formation is same as that for continuous function. And the inverse of this transform is given by this form. So I'll give you an example. So let's consider this discrete series. The number of components is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This series contains 8 values. In this case, the capital N is equal to 8. And we put these values into this Fn. Then we can obtain the result of Fourier transform. This one shows the coefficients of Fourier series. And by using this inverse DFT, we can obtain original data. So if you are interested in this computation, please try later. So any question? Okay. Okay, so let's move to classwork. Create M file of MATLAB and plotting some Fourier series. So please start your MATLAB. And so first, in your command window, for creating a blank file, please input this line. Edit white space SP0 underline RWDA underline plot underline white noise. .m is not needed. After you input this line, the blank file will open. You opened blank file. Please input these lines in the blank file. Okay, sorry. I change MATLAB and white noise. Okay. And CLC. Okay. After you input all these lines, then press 実行 execution. Or you can execute this program from the command window by input file name. Sorry, the file name of my include typo. So okay, if you finish this one, please try the next one. Okay, so if you finish the first one, please try the next one. First, please create another file named sp1_rwda sign.m. And input these lines. So capital A shows the amplitude of input sign function, and capital F equal 1000 means sampling frequency. That means 1 kilohertz. And this part, small t, means that the section 0 to 1, divide section 0 to 1 into the number of 1000 partitions. And small f equals 6. By using these parameters, y1 function y1 equal a times sine 2 times pi times f times t. Then this function is created. And for display this function, please input figure parentheses and plot t comma y1 and put label x label time s, and the title is sine signal. After you input these lines, please execute this program. Okay, so This program makes this graph, this sine curve. And if you want to know more detail about this parameter t, in command window, type X, then you can obtain the content of parameter t. T is a vector that contains 1001 components. So let's try the next example. The next one is Fourier transform. You made a function y1. For transform this function y1, please input this line. FFT means discrete transformation for y1. And input this result into Fy1. And OM means the, how to say, the split the length, range, frequency range. And plot y1 and Fy1a in figure. So, sorry, by some reasons, for getting frequency spectra, this line is required. Fy1 capital A equals 2 times absolute value of Fy1 by length t. And input these lines for making a graph. And yeah, in this file. Fy1 equal FFT of y1, and OM is plot. If you execute this program, you will be obtaining this figure. The upper graph shows input function, input curve. On the other hand, the bottom one is amplitude frequency spectra of y1. In this graph, we consider the half of f in x-axis in real from 0 to input frequency f. This graph has symmetry. So it is sufficient that we consider only the left half side. And this, please look at this part, this vertical red line. This means amplitude of input function y1. In this case, almost 20. That is same as this height. Computers do not good at computing precisely compared with humans. So the result, this value is not necessarily just the same as this height. you can check the spectra in value. Yes. In command window, input FY1 capital A, then you can obtain all, sorry, all values of spectra. And for example, FY1 capital A 6, small f. Okay. So FY1 A parenthesis F plus 1, then you can obtain this value almost same as 20. Yes, so in this case, the frequency 6, we counted the position of frequency from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This part is 7th part. 7th part. F plus 1 means this one. And in frequency 6, we can obtain amplitude about 20. Okay. Did you get this result? Okay, so let's go to the next one. Same as the previous one, we will make another function, y2. In this case, we use two terms. And here, coefficients A1 is 20, and frequency is F1 is 6. Coefficient A2 equal 5, and F2 is equal to 60. So first, please input capital A, these two values, A1 and A2, by this form. And F is 1,000, and T is equal to, T is the same as the previous one. And frequencies, F consists of F1 and F2. And input this expression into this right-hand side. Then execute this program. This program makes this figure more complicated curve. And if you finish this one, please try next one. And so function y1 means phase shifting. Shifting this amount of phase of the original one. So original curve shifted to left or right some amount. Okay. After you finish this one, please try the last one, function y4. This means subtraction of y1 and y3. And from functions y1, y3, and y4, we can obtain these graphs. The top one means function y1, and the second one is function y3, and the third one is y4 equal y1 minus y3. These two functions, y1 and y3, have same frequency and same amplitude, but the phases of them is different. Applying Fourier transform to function y4, we can obtain this amplitude frequency spectra. In particular, in this spectra, this part takes amplitude 6. That value is same as that one, that of y4. This part is value 6, and this part is value 6. What to say? This one OM in OM length t means this one the number of signals, capital N. So this part means that the section 0 to f divide this part by n. This is an interval. Interval is 1 over n. This is a sampling rate. Sampling interval. Okay, so yeah, we don't have much time, so I'll go to the next part, audio file, read audio file. In command window, input this line, parenthesis s comma fs equal audio read speech dot wave. And for plotting this data, input this line, these two lines. This data contains 16,000 per second. And you can listen this sound by your laptop. So please turn on your speaker of your laptop and execute these lines. Before executing this part, please down the volume of your computer before you play the audio. This voice is the content of the speech.wave file. If you want to know more detail about audio read function, please refer the help. After you load the sound file, please apply Fourier transform to the sound. Sorry, before that, we'll make a noise signal. This figure shows sound with noise. We wrote the original sound file and made a sine signal. This looks like solid rectangular, but this shows sine curve. And the sum of these two signals is result in this figure. And applying a Fourier transform to this signal, we can obtain this amplitude frequency spectra. And in this part, frequency 5,000 how to say, very important signal will appear. This shows the sine function, sine signal. And here, the amplitude is almost 0.1. That is same as the input value. Okay, let's go to the next part, filtering. Okay, filtering. For applying filters for sound data, we use the result of Fourier transform. And first, we deal with low-pass filter. That means in this spectra, this left side region means low pass area and low frequency area, and the right hand side it means high frequency region. A low pass filter use delete the high frequency data. That means this figure shows a rough spectra, and this part is low, and this part is high frequency. And applying low pass filter, the data in this area will be removed, and these data only remain. Load the sound file again and show this graph. This one is sound time and amplitude, and this one is spectra, amplitude and frequency. In low frequency area, many important signals exist. On the other hand, other part contains small amplitude signals. Sorry, I'll show you an example, explanation about filter builder. In your MATLAB application, please check the menu bar and find application, then filter builder, and choose low pass filter. You can find the filter builder from this part, application, and choose this one, filter builder. Signal processing and communication contains filter builder. Please select this one. Then this window will open. And choose low pass filter, the top one. Then another window will open. In this window, choose main tab, and this part, frequency unit is hertz, and the input sample rate is that one, or that of the input sound file, 16,000, and band pass filter, pass band is 1900, and stop band is 2000. Okay. Select hertz, and the input sample rate is 16,000, and pass frequency is 1900 and stop frequency is 2000. Then press apply 適用入力できたら適用を押してください。そうすると the filter function will be made. Next, choose code generation tab and select this one, the second one. Generate the function for filtering data. Then press MATLAB code generation. Okay. Then this file is generated automatically. And save this file. Before that, change the top line. The function name is LPF1900X. And save this file by this name, LPF1900. Okay. Okay. Again, first from menu, select application, filter builder, and choose low pass filter. And in main tab, select set frequency unit hertz, and input sample rate is 16,000, and pass frequency is 1900, and stop frequency is 2000. Then the signals that have frequencies less than 1900 remain. And after that, press this button, 適用ボタンを押してください。その後で、コードジェネレーションタブ、from this tab, select this one, second one. データをフィルター処理する関数を生成します。Generate a function that filters data. And last, MATLAB code generation button. 2018? だと違う？ちょっと違う。You can obtain the filter file. And after that, please challenge this one and apply the low pass filter to the original file. Okay, sorry. Before applying filter, please load speech data with noise, speech underline noise.wave, and execute these lines and apply the filter to the sound data with noise. And check the result. And yeah. This figure shows the result of filtering. In spectra, this area has been flattened. And these data of frequencies remain. You finished this program. Try the next one. Smoothing filter will be obtained this line, this function. Smooth parenthesis x, smoothing the input data x. And check the result of smoothing filter. Not only the sound, but also check the spectra, how the spectra has been changed. In this case, in these region contain tiny amplitudes. Okay, and so the next is comb filter. Comb means this one, 昆布、髪を溶かすための櫛です。で、why that filter is called comb? So the wave of the filter is like a comb, and you can check the comb filter. You can make filter and check the wave from the filter builder. Okay. Again, application. Select filter builder, and comb filter, or in Japanese, くし形フィルター。Okay. Choose this one, and in this time we set this part 25, order 25, and quality is 5. And frequency unit is hertz, and input sound rate is 16,000, and apply. The filter is created, and you can check the waveform from this button. Display a filter reaction. Press this button. This figure is shown. And save this function in MATLAB code. And the function name is, for example, comb filter. And save this one by the name comb filter. And please check the result of comb filter. In this case, the spectra is different from the previous one. Okay. You finished the filtering part. Please challenge the next part, smoothing, for GPS signal. Input these lines and execute that program. So if you have any question, please ask me after this class. So I'll go to the next part. The next one is smoothing filter for GPS signal. And first, load this file, gpsdata.csv. And please input this line and execute this one. So by executing this program, you can obtain this figure. This figure shows the route a person walked. This data is shown by two dimensions, latitude and longitude. Latitude and longitude means please image the Earth and the vertical line and the horizontal line. The vertical line is Ido longitude, and the horizontal line is latitude Kado. And if you are interested in the source file, CSV file, please open the data. This data contains these two values. This is a CSV file. And the leftmost column shows the index of each data. And the second column shows latitude. And the third one shows longitude. Load this data into MATLAB and process this file. Then we can obtain we can visualize the result as shown in this figure. And the next one is sparse data. The previous one is very density data. So split some, extract some data, then we can obtain the sparse data. Sorry, normalize noise data. Original data plus noise data shows this one. And applying smoothing filter, in particular one-dimensional median filter for the noise data. Then we can obtain this data that is slightly smoother than the noise data. Okay, that's all the today's classwork, and I'll give you homework. The first one is filtering the audio data and compare and discuss the results of 3 filters: low-pass filter, smoothing filter, and comb filter, and try other several filters using filter builder application. And application your choice with different parameters, and compare SNR, signal to noise ratio. Please research this ratio by yourself. And another homework is smoothing and regression for GPS data. Load this file. This file is contained in your folder. And apply smoothing filter, apply median filter, and find a suitable parameter of median filter. And change the parameter of smoothing and compare the result. Then add noise, apply median filter, and find a suitable parameter, and change the parameter of smoothing and compare the result. So the change sampling rate of GPS data use resample XPQ function and smooth the original noisy, smooth, and resampled GPS data by regression. And this is the last one is a bonus question. If you answer this question, more additional score is added. So filtering and smoothing and calculate velocity and acceleration plot and plot path in 3D and so on. Okay. So and about homework submission, report in PDF file. So please write your discussion and explanation of each program and named this. Please name the file this name. RWDA 2018 homework 3 report and your name.pdf. And please attach the all M files in zip. And include your classwork and your homework programs. And how to submission. If a file size is larger than 2 megabytes, please do not attach it to your email, but upload it to a cloud and send us professors to send us the link URL by email. And reading program students are required to upload homework to eAgora and let us know the upload by email. Email address is this one, and the mail subject is this one, RWDA 2018 homework 3 and your name. The deadline is next Thursday, December 20, 16:30. Okay, and this is scoring. Professors check your answers by these scoring rule. Okay, that's all my explanation. So, any question? Okay, thank you.